Good morning, folks. Yeah, I've been with you a few times now. It's because I have lots to share and I want to. But I'm going to start this video very real because it did bug me. I won't say your name, but the last correction regarding Kim Deal was a jerk move, like you said. It wasn't necessary. It's pretty obvious that I know who I'm talking about. You guys keep it up. I'll shut down for a while. It's just, I don't know you. And if I know you, then I have a better context. Otherwise, it's like it could be taken many ways. But you said it. It was a jerk move and it was not necessary. It's pretty obvious I know who I'm talking about. Okay. Before that, I was listening to Lodger, and it was Adrian Belew, correct, no Fripp. But the part that caught my ears was where Belew was doing a very Fripp type of thing. So after I saw that, I went and checked, and sure enough, okay, I appreciate that. That one was cool. But come on now, it's really obvious. I have these. Have I said enough? Because I could go on. I have a lot of feelings about this that maybe won't be understood unless you've been in my position as a person of color, where you have to be 10 times correct, 10 times better, just to be considered regular. Some of y'all know what I mean, and some of you don't, but it's a real experience, and at my age, I've dealt with, I continue to deal with it, okay? So that's where that annoyance comes from. Okay? All right. It is early. It's 5:54 in the morning. I played a show last night with RAF, my hard charging band that comes from the roots of punk rock. But we're not a punk rock band. We're just a blazing good band. And I wake up this morning and I find what I knew was going to be happening within a short matter of time, which is that the amazing drummer Ginger Baker has passed away. It was reported about a week ago that he was hospitalized, and so it was like, well, at his age and with his history of health, it was like, well, this is probably it, and it was. I keep the majority of my classic rock albums in the closet, so my cream is not out here to show you, but do I have cream? And absolutely. Absolutely. And let me share with you that cream were another major influence and on me in my life. Starting with Chuck Berry and Little Richard, then when the Beatles hit America, and then when what I consider, psychedelia, basically when rock music started to open up, Cream, they were the first supergroup, and it was Jack Bruce's bass playing that inspired me to want to play the bass. He is my original bass hero. Ginger Baker, though, as well. His drumming, it was, again, real apparent to me how much his rock playing was influenced by jazz and Elvin Jones type of approach, and also a very African type of approach. I've watched many. I never got to see Ginger play live. I've watched a lot of footage that, all the shows that you could see, the Royal Albert Hall. Just, he was a madman, literally, on the drums and in life, he walked it like he talked it. I frankly would have loved to have met him and had a chance to talk to him, not to try to get up his snout, because you don't have to do anything to do that, but just to see how well it would go. Because I do well with difficult people. That's why I've won awards for my mental. Just let me talk. This is my channel. This is why I've won awards for my work in mental health, because I can relate to anyone. And I've been sent into situations that were dangerous, where we have had the place that I worked at, the whole place was on lockdown because of a dangerous situation. And before they'd call the police, they would call Dereck. And I'm happy to say that I was able to save the day. I have literally taken knives, bullets, guns out of people's hands. They've given them to me because I'm able to relate to them. So Ginger Baker would have been cool to meet. It's another reason why I am not so much sensitive to what people say as aware, okay? So, some of you people like to try to flip me shit, and it's just not necessary. So, if I'm going to say it again, and you keep it up in the comments, you'll lose me. I do this for pleasure. I do this because I want to, but I know what it means to some of you. And if some of you guys want to be jerks and I'll say it like this: if you want to do that and punish everyone by pissing me off and making me stop making videos for a long time, I'll do that. I'll go on with my business otherwise, okay? Hear me, okay? So, back to, played a killer show last night with RAF. It was a Halloween-themed show. We played with the bands Graveyard Smash, Glow in the Dark, and another band, my first time seeing them, Hangman something. Everyone was good last night. Everyone was good. And I'm glad to say that we were third in the lineup of 4, and it's always a risk to play after RAF. Everyone knows this. We have the reputation for it, and we always come through. And last night, Graveyard Smash came through. They upped their game. I've seen them before. We killed it last night. We did. There's only pictures, but there's no video from last night. But I stuck around, and Graveyard Smash brought the thunder. They were damn good. You have to be after RAF. Really happy to say that. The record is, because of a lot of personal upheaval in the band's lives, our album is coming along very slowly. I cannot be more specific out of respect for the other band members, But I'll say this: RAF, as a group of people, we are crazy. So, quite literally, everyone are wonderful people, but we all have issues. Excuse me. And so we have to work around that, getting this record done, okay? So with that in mind, NOFX came through. I received, finally, my copy of the single, Hepatitis Bathtub. This was recorded in my house, in my basement. Not this house. This is the second house I've owned. My original house over further north in this neighborhood. What's cool is that this happened back in 1987, and the way it happened was NOFX came through, and my band RAF, who just played last night, we opened for them. And it was a rowdy, crazy show. I have many memories of it. Fat Mike had injured his fingers, possibly broken a finger, but they were on the road. They had no money, and so he had his fingers taped up with black electrical tape. I'm not sure why he kept using electrical tape, as opposed to, gauze tape, you know what I mean, medical tape. But he kept taping his fingers up, and he was just, the whole band were just really very adolescent, very, very childish, a lot of fun, but I really did have to manage them once we got to my house so they wouldn't tear the fucker up, At one point I said, stay in the basement. one of the things that they would just, of course there was a lot of drinking going on and pot smoking, and they would just get into these stupid little wrestling matches and noogies with the local kids, It was funny, but it was also like, guys, come on. So I want to thank Fat Records. I want to thank Pat on the staff there and their manager. I forget his name, but they came to the rescue after my interactions with Fat Mike kind of got to a point, and then it's like, then I didn't hear from him. I left him my message. But you fans kept it going. Thank you, folks, who kept contacting them and me saying, hey, let's get this done. And it happened. So this was recorded in my basement. I didn't have like a proper studio. It was totally DIY. I had a 4-track cassette and some mics, and that's it. And after the gig with NOFX and RAF, it was party time, and so we went to Jay's house. I happen to be wearing Jay's band's t-shirt. This is just happenstance. This is great. It's perfect. Cordial Spew, another local long-running punk band. They're punk. Definitely punk. And Jay Bacon, the singer, is an absolutely excellent human being. So we're partying at his house where NoFX was crashing, and then they talk about how, hey, does anybody know anybody that's got a recorder? We got some songs we want to get down while we're on the road, We'll do some demoing. I said, yeah, what the hell? I got a 4-track. Will that do? Hell yes. So we arranged it, and it was a big party. A bunch of people came to the house. Some kids who are adults now, who are still friends, followers of the band. After I posted this online, there was a gaggle of memories brought back up, really good ones, of the people who were there partying while I was recording the band. I appreciate that they sent me a limited edition version, not the black vinyl. Of course, I will say, doesn't it make sense that if anyone deserves a limited edition, it would be the person who made the recording happen? So when I played this, the audio quality of this is really low because of the circumstance, and like I say, it was just, what I had. But it takes me right back to the experience. And I enjoyed all the band, but the people that I really personally vibed with was Eric Melvin on guitar, and the drummer at the time, Eric Sandin. I think he's been gone for a while. I liked Fat Mike, but he was obviously going to be the leader. If he wasn't the leader, well, maybe he was, but I could see that he was the person with the super large personality, was constantly spilling out and over everybody else's shit with his shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not a diss. That's how leaders and how large personalities work. It's like, well, I got this, This is what I'm doing, get with me or get out of my way. So I'm really glad this happened. I want to thank the fans and followers again for helping make this happen, because I would have dropped it, I would have let it go. This is way cool. I ain't going to stay on too long here. I haven't played any of the records since I made the video yesterday because, because I just made that video and then rested and then played my gig. So back to Ginger Baker right quick. We are at that age where we're just, the clock doesn't stop ticking. So just one by one, we are being laid to rest. And, that's life, I'll say that I feel blessed to be at the age that I am, that I got to experience truly the golden era of rock and roll. I was born in 55, so I wasn't there I was a baby as it was beginning. But when it moved from doo-wop into pop groups writing their own music, inspired by the Beatles, moving into hard rock and psychedelia, and then the beginning of the bridging of the gap between black and white in music and bands performing publicly. I'm glad that I was a part of that. I'm glad that I got to experience that. It ain't the same now. It's not. It can never return to that innocence. You know, so much of what is happening now is just a repetition. It was innocent. It was new. And I got to experience that and see it, feel it, and be a part of it. And that's a privilege. And Ginger Baker, and the Cream, and the stuff that he did with Air Force, with Fela, and the other stuff he's done, extremely important to me personally, and also to the history of music in general. Very important. Before I go, I will do one pull from down here. Like I said, it's just know so well what stuff is. So let's see what we get here. See, I think this is my passport. Close. Well, yeah. So we start with the Pastels. This band makes me want to say right away that my taste is my taste, and maybe some folks will think, well, he likes that. Why doesn't he like that? Well, it's because I'm an individual, you know, and there is no right or wrong way to listen to music, and one thing does not necessarily always lead to another. Don't make assumptions. I love the Pastels. I love them. You know, they could barely play, but they had that thing. You know what I'm saying? Is this on Creation? This is on Glass Records. Coming Through, Sit on It Mother, Lonely Planet Boy. I've got a couple more Pastels, but I knew I was close to the Passport section. So the next few are from the Passport section, which is rather big because I like that band. German band, started out by Klaus Doldinger, jazz saxophonist. My uncle Johnny Griffin recorded with Passport. I love knowing that. So Heavy Nights, they've made so many records. I think he's still making them under the name that after a while they seem, if you don't take the time to listen, you'll think they all sound the same, but they don't. Excuse me. I like the early Passport the best, but I like all of these as well. Garden of Eden and Iguazu. Whenever I see an album of theirs that I don't have cheap, I pick it up. I just picked up one. Was it, no, it's not here. I got one recently. I like Passport very much. Very much. Okay, folks, I do appreciate the comments, you know, and take to heart what I said earlier, okay? And if you need a further explanation of my position, I'll be happy to share it with you. Because there's history behind where I'm coming from. Being a person of color, dealing with the horrible double standards of the world, which immediately comes to mind when I deal with the public. It's like, what is this? Especially what I said, okay? I won't belabor it, okay? Notice how I always try to just kind of chill and end the videos with a smile, because that's where it's at. We're together, people. I speak honestly, but I'm not a dick. I'm honest. I have a lot of love for all of you because I love myself. And we're one. We're one. Okay?